Hello guys, what's up? It's me, Rafa, your English teacher. And today we'll do more one podcast with my friend Yunita. And today we bring right more one quest, right? And today my friend Aziz, please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, I'm really glad to join your meeting. My name is Aziz. I'm from Morocco. I'm 22 years old and I'm a teacher in progress.
Oh my gosh, so young and he's teaching, right? It's cool, it's cool. And you too, Yunita, please introduce yourself to us.
Me? Hi.
Yes, yes, again.
Hi, guys. Again, this is the second meeting, but this is me. This is me, Yunita from Indonesia. And I teach English in primary school for about maybe, yeah, six years now. 6 years now. And I also help my university teaching there in university. I'm teaching English for young learners. English for young learners here means that I teach a university students to be an English teacher for young learners. And I'm glad that I am here with you all, with Rafa and Aziz. We can talk about how to deliver an English material easily for students because this is a very important methodology for teacher. Delivering material is not just giving a task, giving assessment, but we have to know tricks how to deliver that material well because we are dealing with human being. They are living things, and we have to understand the background and everything.
Yes, yes, you are right. I agree. I think the material is so important, right? Because
Mhm.
I I I did uh, two or uh, two or three internships, and
Mhm.
I think that it's really important, right? When the teacher or the professor he or she has a material because it's really important to understand, right?
Mhm.
And for example, I think that when you have the, for example, adult from your students, okay, oh, I didn't understand this subject, and the teacher bring a slide or a PDF. I think
Mhm.
it's changed, right? The
Mhm.
the understanding from our students, right?
Yes.
And I think that it's really important. A professor or a teacher know how to do a material. And
Mhm.
my friend Aziz, please, how do you teach in your school, right? What kind of material do you do, or I don't know, methodology of class? Can be anything that you bring to your students.
First, I will tell you a story because for about the first time I taught. I remember I had a call from a friend teaching in an association which offers English courses for free, saying that she has already gone out of duty over the weekend and I needed to replace her starting from Monday. And you know that
Mhm.
feeling of being requested to teach when you're not competent enough in didactic stuff, and especially when you're not that familiar with its practical side. So I remember obviously not being able to sleep the night before because I was freaking out. I thought I was going to have two classes. I mean, with different levels and grades, and also coming in irregular times as already pre-scheduled. But that wasn't the case. I remember the first class with beginners on Monday. The anxious and enthusiastic. Like I have an enthusiastic feeling at the same time. So when about to enter the building, I noticed the crowds of students coming from the doorway. Hopefully not to my class, but yeah, the class got crowded, and yet still there were many students coming to my class. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was on pins and needles. I thought, are you students? Are you my students, or just a group of Protestants coming, ending up being in my class? So yeah, I was kind of confused because they were two groups for intermediates and beginners in the associations, and seemingly they were starving for English, so that they came both at the same time. So I didn't know how to handle this situation because it's hard to teach two levels together because it's not a governmental association; it's a private association, and it's like it offers courses for free, so it's obvious. So I really was confused what to teach and how because I didn't know where the previous teacher left out. So and I thank God because it was just English, and most of the students were there just to improve their communication skills. So that is the first time I feel like it's the first time to know how it feels to be a teacher, how to manage the unexpected, how to handle the situation when you're not already competent. I mean, I had some information and background about how to teach, how to manage the class, but I was kind of surprised. But communication, when you teach communication, I think communication has no levels. I mean, still beginners can learn from intermediates and vice versa. So I take this as an advantage and I carry on my class towards and I was so proud that my students could learn something, yeah, between quotations. But yeah, I was so proud. Concerning your questions, I mean, before even starting your class, you need to take in consideration your like the students' comfort, culture, and cultural barriers, the language. So there should be many things that should be taken in consideration before starting a class. And I think
Exactly.
yeah, and I adapt the silent method of teaching because it focuses on the student rather than the teacher. I mean, the student is the center of the class. It focuses on the student's psychology, social status, his or her, own personal issues. So if you if I have some time, I can elaborate on these more. But my idea is that the class should be, I mean, that the student should be the center of the class and not the professor. That's why I support the silent method.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, that
I
is
totally.
called management of class.
Mm-hmm.
That is called management of class. So teacher here is not just teaching, but we are a manager. We are a
Yeah,
manager of our students. We didn't teach. We just give an idea and students try to have a new innovation how to solve their own problem. Because as Aji said, that before we enter the class, we should know the background of the student itself. In one class, we are a homogeneous student there, right? So culture, background, status, it's really matter. We have to consider about that
yeah,
so that we know how to deliver a good material. But just remember that giving them ideas and then they find out about their own solution by their own ideas and thoughts, it helps them to go forward, to move forward to the next level of a new material. Because we didn't teacher didn't told them to do. We didn't told them to do, but they told themselves what to do. That's the
exactly.
Whoa.
trick. That's one trick, only one trick. We
Uh,
have the same ideas as is. We never told students what to do, but they told themselves what to do.
yeah,
We just like giving them material, we just giving them ideas, and then they grab the ball of a material, and they try to open the material, and they try to rearrange, recombine, and how to make these difficulties to be easier. And then after that, let's say in one class you have like 20 students, there will be 20 ideas how to solve the problem, and it will be interesting.
Yeah.
One material, you just throw one material to those students, to your students, and they grab it and they try to solve that, and there will be 20 solutions, and it will be interesting.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
you will have a further discussion with your students, and the class will not be boring.
Yeah. Like multiple interaction among the
Yes.
class, really important.
Yes. And mostly we talk about psychological effect, right? So students will be appreciated when they have ability, when they have a chance to solve their own problem. They feel proud of themselves. That's the thing. We have like double function. We have like double benefits in giving them problem and they solve it.
Yeah, and that's what matters the most. To have
Yes.
Mhm.
the students' psychological state
Yeah.
up.
Mm.
That's
Well,
why sorry.
yes. Even ourselves, even Rafa or maybe Aziz and even me, if there is somebody appreciated our work, we feel proud of ourselves. We feel that, oh yeah, I can find my own solution.
Mhm.
I think every human being will feel like that. We feel appreciated.
Have you ever experienced this situation where you have to teach two different levels at the same class?
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah, for me. Yeah, for me. Yeah. For me, yeah. I teach two classes with different material. Try to imagine that.
Oh,
Two classes at the same time, different material.
oh,
Different
Yeah.
material. Oh my God.
Yes.
But here in Brazil is different. It's a little bit different. Because for
Uh-huh.
example, I don't know if you have ever teach on public schools.
Mhm.
For example, of course, in a public schools there are different kind of students, and there are some days that how can I say, they have a course, right, in a public
Mhm.
course here in
Mhm.
Brazil that called SEAL.
Mhm.
Um, it's a school that we can learn languages, right, different languages,
Mhm.
and those students really, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, they are incredible, right, and they
Mhm.
know many things in English. And
Mhm.
when we see those students studying, they resolve the exercise so fast,
Mhm.
right? And I
Mhm.
think, oh my gosh, and during the class, it's not so good because he or she resolved the exercise so fast, and the other students, I look like, teacher, how can I do that, teacher?
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
how
yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Or teacher, I don't know how to resolve this this exercise,
Mm.
right? I don't care. Oh, I don't care
Mm.
about this
Uh,
exercise.
Aziz,
And
do you have the answer for that? Do you have tricks how to solve that?
how to solve that?
Yeah.
Mm, I
well,
Your
this
students are homogeneous. Your students are so many different from one class. And
I was I was doing an internship. I couldn't interfere what the teacher was doing during the class, right? She only said, Rafa, teach this subject for me, and I think, okay, I will teach, right? And I don't feel comfortable to interfere how the teacher was doing, right? Because
Mhm.
I just try to do my best, right? Do the class, But if I were the teacher, I don't know. I probably I will incentivize to the students to study, right? Oh, if anyone here take the how can I say, um, the grade very good. I could do here. I could come here. I don't know, with a customer, right? A fun
Mhm.
customer. This kind of things, right? To incentivize the students, because we should incentivize them, because for example, in a test here, we have a test here during the year that calls NN. What does it mean? When we do this NN, we could achieve a university. For example, oh, I would like to study English or engineer. We could do this test, right? And we could achieve the public university here in Brazil. And there are English and Spanish. Spanish is really difficult, the test in Spanish. I prefer to teach in English, and I said, okay, if if you study hard, you can understand, right?
Mm.
What is the in the test? You can interpretate, right? And that's why I love English, because it's a universal language, right? And I think it's easier for me. It's easier to understand, right? I don't know. It is because I study a long time, but when I hear in English, when I listen to in English, I think, okay, I can understand, right? The words are very clear for me when you guys are talking. For me, it's very clear. But in Spanish, they talk. No, they speak very fast. For
Oh
me,
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah.
very
I
difficult.
know. I got that. Yeah. So your problem is how to handle multiple students, right? In one class, right, Rafa? How to handle
Yes.
that? So let's say you give them like random material for your students, and then it's impossible that all students will manage to solve the problem, right? There are like, let's say you have like 20 students and 10 students able to have a solution of the material, but the other 10 students still have difficulties. And these difficulties multiply by their own background. Maybe they cannot find solution, maybe they already find solution but it's stuck in the middle, or maybe they just don't understand what the teacher told them to do, or maybe just they just lazy to do that. So like the rest of 10 students here having multiple problems, how to solve that, right? What do
Mhm.
you think about that, Ajis? Did you have the same experience as this? What is your move to overcome that situation?
It's kind of hard to satisfy every student's
Yes.
understanding.
Yeah.
Uh, the input each students get is different from like uh, another student, because it depends on the students. Probably, as I told you, there are social reasons, social
Yeah. Hmm.
psychological reasons. A student who is raised in a civilized, globally civilized, is different than
Yeah.
one civilized in you know uh, in a traditional area or in a rural area. So it depends, because students, there are smart students, there are less smart students, are careless students, and it's hard.
Mm.
Probably most of the teachers whom I talk to, we try to satisfy as much students as they can, and
Mhm.
there always should be some students who didn't get the point, or who have troubles understanding the teacher's material, or
Yeah.
uh, getting the point from the materials provided by the teacher. Uh, it's hard because that's what individual teaching does. Most of those the students who have trouble understanding the materials provided by the teacher. They have individual education, probably for those who are able, because in Morocco here we have individual teaching. Uh, if a student had trouble understanding or dealing with the materials provided in the class, in the actual class, their parents like hire an individual teacher for them, especially to deal, because it's hard to apply different approaches in one class. If one approach work with some, the other won't work with the others. So it's hard to apply multiple approaches in one class. So you try to choose the suitable approach or methods of teaching that probably 80% of the students can handle or can cope with. Uh, here is the responsibility of the parents. They have to be responsible and like carry on their students' troubles, like educational troubles, and see if they are really if they are content, or if the approaches and methods used in the class like helps them learn, or it's the opposite. In public teaching, that's the problem with public teaching. Public teaching doesn't consider or doesn't take the exceptions, like the exception students. Like we take students as an exception. We take student as an exception. So they don't really focus on the whole class, but they try to only teach, or they try to get as many students as possible who who understands the materials good. While in the private section focuses on each student individually, and they sometimes are forced to apply different approaches. Like the more you use different approaches, the more you have more students and lots of students understanding. So it's hard. For me, it's
Of course.
exception.
Because in public schools here, I think that your idea it's a little bit difficult, right? And to apply it in a public school, but in a private school of a language, I think it's better, right? Because for example, you have a class that everybody is in this class, but in the end, the teacher could do okay. Yunita or Aziz, please come here. Let's talk about your level of English. Okay, do you understand or no? What do you think about I could improve more? This kind of things, right? To interact with the students. But I don't know. You have the same problem in your country about public schools, and I think that it's a little bit complicated because here in Brazil we aren't a bilingual country, right?
Bilingual.
Yes,
Bilingual.
bilingual. Yes, we don't have it, and I think it's we only have Portuguese here, and yes,
Oh,
yes, only Portuguese because even though that we are in the South America, we have many countries that speak Spanish,
yes. Yeah,
but
it means that
Brazil,
English still your foreign language, right, Rafa? English
yes,
is your foreign language.
yes, for me it's my
Mm.
foreign language, and I think that many people here would like to speak in English, but they only do the course, right? And after they don't care, they wouldn't like they just would like to have the certificate, the English certificate, but they say, oh, okay, I have the certificate in English, but I couldn't speak in English, right? Because
Uh,
I think it's big. I think it's depend of the methodology, how the students we study, right, day by day, and I think that a great duty for a teacher is to present, right, some methodologies. For example, okay, you can do a flashcard, or you can read more, or listen to music, right? Music. I think it's really important. It's really important. The teacher know how to have the strategies to study and pass this to the students, right? Because I think that me as teacher, I should, okay, oh, you can access the internet and search for Cambridge Dictionary, or the Treasure Dictionary, or a flashcard, for example. I think it's a good methodology for me. You guys that should have the other methodologies, but for me it is, and I would like to hear that from you. Okay, you both. Um, and for me, that it's really good uh, to access in English, to have the information in English, right? You know what you are learning. For example, oh, okay, I don't know what it is to give up, okay, and okay, to give up, what it is to give up, okay, and I see the definition in English, right? And I think it's really important for us every day try to do it. And I would like to hear from you both. Okay, what do you do in this
Yeah.
case?
So basically, before you're teaching, you have to know background of your students. Even if you face a multiple problem in one class, maybe you already know the background of your students. It makes you easier to overcome all the possibilities of problem in a class. That's the most important thing. But I think the basic things is that you have to be able to make your student motivation grow bigger, because uh, okay, let's say that we are a student and we just start to learn about English, right? Just let's say the situation that way. But whenever we don't have motivation to learn English, we kind of lost interest to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So for an English teacher, English is still our foreign language, Rafa. English is our foreign language. For them, for our student, in their mind, they still think that it is foreign language. It is very hard. It is difficult. How can I manage that? So at the first meeting, you have to ask them, do you have any motivation of learning English? What is your motivation in learning English? The most the most sophisticated, superficial motivation they could give to you, it makes you easier to give them a material. No motivation means they just lost interest in learning everything, in everything. Maybe you still remember I said before, when you are falling in love with someone, will you will do everything, anything, right? You will do anything and everything. And this is how a teacher should make them have this feeling. Can a teacher make your student falling in love with English? If you can do that, it's easier for you to make them learning about English. That's the first thing. That's the basic thing. And then if there is a problem, multiple problem in one room, you will ask them easily, and there will be a cooperation between teacher and student. Teacher asking about the problem and student giving about the problem, and you two have a communication and you find a solution. That's also the tricks, despite of methodology of learning, because sometimes somehow I say that to my university student as well. It is useless if you already know too many methodologies of learning, because methodologies of learning and teaching has so many theories, but if you cannot apply those theories in present, in practical, it's just useless. Somehow, you know a lot of theories from Bloom. Do you know Bloom? Do you know Bloom?
No, no,
No,
yeah.
an expert of education from Bloom, an expert of education. Google that. There are so many theories which Bloom said to us and give to us, but it's useless if you do not practice it by yourself. And at the end, you will say, "Oh, this is only a theory," but in practice, this is not all the same. We just like theory and practice are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe to be a teacher is not just giving material, but it should be coming from heart. Are you ready to go for a battle? Battle with your heart, battle with the difficulties of handling kids, because they are living things, they're human beings, they have a lot of problem in their background, with the different background as well.
Yeah.
So if
Oh
you
my
are a
God.
teacher, you have to be ready with your heart.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Yes, really, really. I do like this. Oh my gosh. Really, really. I like it.
Sometimes I said this to my university student, and they said, "Yes, Miss, you're right. Theory and practice are totally different, and we should go practice teaching in schools than just reading theories from expertise of education." So I said, "Okay, you go choose one school, or maybe institution. Choose one school or maybe one institution you like the most. Go there, teach their student, and give me the report.
Yeah.
What have you experienced there? What do you feel about teaching there? What do you feel about handling kids? What do you feel about handling new people in front of you with so many problems as their background?" And they like that. So I prefer to teach my university student to go practice down there instead of just reading theories. Theories just in our mind, but if we didn't do it, we didn't practice it, we never know what comes next.